Dear diary, is this piece of shit Apple computer, brand new MacBook Pro, going to be able to not glitch? Cross your fingers. As I get closer and closer to hanging myself or doing something dramatic, so I go to jail for 10 years and can get a lot of work done there because New York City is too expensive. And the world is doomed anyhow, and free healthcare in jail, etc. I just ate a chocolate Rice Krispies treat laced with marijuana, apparently, to kill the pain of dealing with all the criminals in government and the criminals who are not in government. Please pardon me for digressing, but I may be a little incoherent because I think I am baked. Today, we're going to talk briefly, hopefully, about the 2005 elections. That's one of the things I'm best known for, so I'd like to clear up some of the myths that are out there on the record and the urban legends. Now, this is one of the things I'm most acclaimed for. Sadly, I came to New York City and immediately won an award 4 months after arriving here for best posters in New York City. Not bad. I came to New York City, 21 years old, didn't know a single person. $200 in my pocket. I was living in a bush near NYU, no joke, for 4 months because I was an intern at the knitting factory and didn't make any money. I couldn't tell everyone I was homeless because when you tell people you're homeless, everyone thinks you're on heroin and you're a very scary person. Nobody has sympathy. They don't want to help the weak. Nobody wants to help the weak, right? People are more inclined to give free food and free stuff to rich people than they are to poor people. That's the way the world works. Humans are awful creatures. So, holy shit, I'm going off on some tangents here. Where the hell were we? I was saying that. I've gotten all kinds of acclaim for my art, my scientific inventions, blah 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 blah. It sucks to be the world's biggest genius because no one can understand me, no one can relate to me, right? If Hendrix did 1,000 things as well as he did play guitar, a lot of people would forget he plays guitar. Most people don't remember half the shit about Da Vinci or fucking Ben Franklin because they're multi-dimensional characters. Do you understand? That's one of my greatest curses, and it has been since I was a little boy. Is that I am anytime, any place, you name it. I am the most important architect in human history because I'm a mixture of super innovation, super logic, super reason, super cranium. I'm not joking. You can look at my track record. It speaks for itself, which is partly what we're talking about today, which is my 2005 run for mayor. That alone, if that was the only thing I did in my life of note, I'd be one of the most impressive humans of all time. But it's not even 1% of the tens and tens of thousands of superhuman things I've done. And it's sad that most of my superhuman efforts have been blocked. I'm, without a doubt, the most important filmmaker in history, the most important dance choreographer in history, and the most important, pick a category. I'm even the most important tennis player in human history because I love tennis and I was going to train with tennis and acrobatics to be a show off on the court. You've never seen anything like it. Imagine you're watching Wimbledon and one of the guys is doing backflips and all kinds of other fucking acrobatics to show off while playing tennis. It'd be fucking awesome. Anyone could do it tomorrow. So why didn't anyone? Because everyone does things the way it's always been done, which makes our world very boring and one-dimensional. Right? Everybody dresses the same. Everybody talks the same. Everybody does everything the same. I'm lucky we still have different languages. That the world hasn't been so fucking homogenized that we still have Chinese or Italian or Greek, all these different languages. Because everything else is fucking one-dimensional, right? If I go to China, am I going to go to McDonald's? Is there going to be a McDonald's in China? Yes. The world is getting more boring every year and more one-dimensional every year. It is very depressing. And that's why you need people like me, because most people, for instance, you take a guitarist like Yngwie Malmsteen, he was super fast when he came out. A lot of people were shocked. And suddenly, within the next 10 years, every guitarist takes 12 steps forward. They're now playing fucking fast licks that they couldn't when they were 25. the year before they heard of Yngwie Malmsteen? That's retarded. I wasn't that impressed because I'd already heard people like Al Di Meola and others play that fast. And in my head, I hear shit a lot faster than that. Fucking Yngwie Malmsteen dork. The stuff I hear in my head, most of which I cannot play because I don't get to practice, is fucking nutso physical stunts. I mean, if you even watch the way I play sometimes, I'm the most acrobatic guitarist on earth. I'm not interested in playing in the box. That's not fun. That's boring. I want to be fucking jumping from here to there across the neck. I want to do difficult things. It's more fun. It's exciting to do these crazy leaps like acrobatics. Playing it safe is what humans do, and that's not fun. It's boring. And even as an audience member in New York City, I have been complimented hundreds of times in my life as an audience member by the persons on stage. That's pretty crazy. Usually it's the person in the audience who says, I really enjoyed your show, to the person on stage. But with me, it's always the opposite. Some people have said shows are not the same when I'm not in the audience, like Bowery Poetry Club and stuff like that, because I'm a goofball and I will pump that audience up from the very first moment. And I'll applaud at inappropriate times, and I do all kinds of stuff because I like to make noise and I like to fucking jazz this fucking boring world up. It fucking drives me nuts. Where's this sense of playfulness? Oh my God, we have all the immaturity of humans without any of the positive aspects of immaturity. Yikes! It's another reason why I can't stay on this planet much longer. It's just I've dealt with this forever, and it's just boring. There's nothing here. Your planet is over. If it ever wasn't. Sorry for digressing. But yeah, everything I do as a super innovator with superhuman logic. Right? Even my enemies call me a genius or brilliant, and they're right. Now that's not good. Now wait, I gotta qualify this because you'll think some people will, you're a genius. Actually, I am easily the smartest person on the planet Earth today. I can show you hundreds of thousands of times where I've proven the most educated people wrong. I do it every day. Tomorrow, ask me tomorrow, how did I prove the most educated people in society wrong tomorrow? And at the end of the day tomorrow, I'll give you a list of 5 things. Because it's every single day. Right now, the big story on the East Coast is, or maybe, I don't think it's national that big, but a little bit. The Anthony Weiner story. It's like, oh, Anthony lied to the people. That's like, blah, 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 blah. It's 2011. And he's better than most politicians, too. But, oh, Anthony lied. It's like, really? That's funny because a political cartoonist for the New York Press in 2005 did a cartoon of Anthony Weiner as the 40-year-old virgin. And that cartoon attacked Andrew for being a lying weasel when he said he voted for the Iraq War because he was tricked by Bush. That was 6 years before everybody else called Anthony Weiner a liar. I've done this in every single news story there is. I wrote about planes crashing into the Twin Towers, hijacked planes, starting in 1994. And then the world watched it in 2001. Not bad, Christopher. Elliot Spitzer was taken down for being a lying criminal. That's funny. Somebody 3 years earlier had done a political cartoon for the New York Press about Elliot Spitzer being a fucking lying, fake law enforcement jerk-off. Not bad. Not bad. I've done this with every single story. Every single story. The nuclear collapse in Japan. Me, and I wasn't the only one. Thousands of people wrote about that 20 years before it happened. Remember, it's not hard to predict the future. It's easy. The problem is everybody is asleep and lazy. The future looks exactly like the past. Sorry. Oh, I do not really believe that I'm a genius, and I've always said this. I said, I'm really not that smart at all. The only difference between me and other people is I use my brain. Now, you've probably heard the cliche that I've heard. I heard this since I was a little boy, that humans only use 10% of their brains. And all my life I've heard that, and it didn't mean anything to me. It's like, what does that mean? Does that mean... it's not something I think about. I just think, oh, they don't use most of their brains. Oh, okay. It's like, what does that mean? Because some of it's memory storage in the bag and it's just hanging out there? I don't know. But I do know this. It didn't mean anything to me as a kid or as an adult. It was like Chinese. It's like, what? We only use 10% of our brain. Okay, whatever. But then, when I realized, oh, I think what they meant is that humans are fucking idiots. I get the translation, you know? I didn't get the translation until I was in my 30s or whatever. Well, maybe my 20s. I have to go back and look at the essays. But I look, and now I say, oh, now I understand what that Chinese means. It means humans are fucktards who don't use their brains. I have a song called There Are None So Dumb as Those Who Don't Use Their Fucking Brains. And maybe that's what they meant, because we know the human brain has the capacity to do mind-blowing things. White chocolate Kit Kat, oh my God, fucking hyper genius. We can do all kinds of things. We can solve all kinds of problems. So why the fuck can't we solve any of these simple fucking basic problems, from fucking homelessness to fucking war and violence and crime? What the fuck? And we see that. All the great ideas are coming from, 3,000 people. The rest are complete imbeciles. And that's one real problem in our society. Because you talk about, when you say things like, listen to a symphony, how can you say humans are savages? Well, that symphony wasn't written by a savage. That symphony was written by one of the 1,000 people on the planet at any given time who's got a fucking brain and uses it. We all have brains. Most people I know, I think, are smarter than me in a lot of ways, but they don't use their brains. So who gives a shit? They use their brains for things like, what am I going to wear today? What should I eat? They don't use their brains for things like, how do we solve homelessness? They don't use their brains for, how do we fix our electoral process? They use their brains for nothing. They phone it in. They sleepwalk every day. Most people sleepwalk every day. I've never been like that. My brain is always juggling thousands of things. That's just in the arts. Just as a guitarist, I'm always coming up with brilliant new inventions and new ideas. I'm like, what if you did this? What if you did this? I call it art science. It's like looking at art from a scientific perspective. What if I did this? What if I tuned these strings all this way? And then I use a slide. What would happen then? What if I put these pedals in this conjunction? What would happen? Art science. That's why I am the world's most important artist and musician, because no one else has ever been like me. You got people who come close, but in some ways, but you can't. I mean, look at Hendrix's drumming compared to mine. Exactly. Hendrix did very little, and most of his ideas that people got blown away by were stolen from somebody else. He admits that. Some of the flashy moves and things. I like to create my own flashy moves. But let's not digress too much in that area. I don't think I'm a genius. I've often had a much harder time. Like, I don't think I could ever do improv or freestyle rapping and things like that. My brain doesn't work that way. And other people are much smarter than me at it, improv and things like that. So the only difference between me and other people is I use my brain. Genius to me would be an extraordinary intellect. I don't think there's ever been such a thing. We know that Einstein was a moron, and almost all of his theories were wrong, but they don't remind you that, because humans are superficial. They just remember Einstein. Oh, yeah, that guy's real smart. Everyone else says that's the guy's real smart. I didn't really look into it. I didn't really ever sit down and see, is this true or not? I just said, since everybody else says it, it's got to be true. And that's how we end up where we are today. People fucking not thinking and blindly trusting bullshit, yada, yada, yada. We're going to push pause to save. Holy fuck, dear diary. Okay, let's talk about the 2005 election. Now, this is one of the things I'm best known for and most acclaimed for. To this day, every fucking day or so, people say they voted for me, or they tell others, that guy ran for mayor. Even in music venues now, people are like, I heard some rumors about you, and I looked you up, and they weren't false. Some crazy rumors about you running for mayor and stuff. It's like, these people loved me for my art, music, and my goofing off skills. Nothing to do with politics. And then they find out, then take somebody else who knows my history and says, that's normally how people will introduce me. That seems to be what I'm known best for, at least in New York City. Around the world, I'm still best known for crashing the 2004 May 2004 9/11 commission with Rudolph Giuliani. Made international press. That was a good one. That one worked out well. Not all my projects work out that well. So that was a good one. The 2005 Mayor race. I mean, even though I set international records and pulled off shit that no other human history's ever done, and it's remarkable, and everything I did was incredible, it was still, a complete failure. I couldn't get the press, because the press are dirtier than ever before. They get dirtier each year. And so in 2001, I actually got some good coverage. Great piece on me in the New York Times. You may have heard of that paper, with a great photo of me. I mean, that's pretty mind-blowing. When without doing any work, you get in the New York Times with your photo and stuff. Now, I could have used that to get laid. I could have used that to have all my bands be successful, but I refuse to capitalize on that shit, because I have too much integrity. Again, do not have as much integrity as me. Integrity is like anything else. It should be used in moderation, okay? I'm a fucking integrity Nazi, and it's ruined my life. I mean, it's not the only thing that ruined my life. And if I wasn't an integrity Nazi, my life would still be ruined, so don't get the wrong idea. Please don't misunderstand me. But that seems to be what people always say to when describing me the most. They say, well, some people always say, he's a great guitarist, he's a genius artist, blah, blah, blah. But number one thing I get is, the guy ran for mayor. Yeah, he did really good. He got a lot of votes. But people don't know most of the story. All they know is I got a lot of votes. 17,000, was it? I got 4% of the vote in the Democratic primary. Now, that's shit, 4%. And it's really offensive when you think about the fact that I could have easily won that election in 5 minutes. I know that sounds outrageous, but how? Think about it. You don't know the details, see? That's why people have to think a little deeper before they knee-jerk, all right? That's the one thing, the biggest problem on the planet, is people not fucking thinking for a moment before they react and shoot off their mouth or whatever, shoot off the gun. I could have won the election against Mayor Bloomberg under any circumstances. He could have spent his entire fortune. He could have spent billions. And I would have beaten him just with proposal number 1 on my 100 innovations to fix New York City. Free subways. Right there, I've got 95% of the vote against the mayor, the incumbent billionaire mayor. 95%. I said, hey, if you want free subways, you vote for me. If you don't, vote for Mike Bloomberg. What's he done for you for the last 4 years? Over. That's why they arrested me days after I was announced in the paper. They said, this guy, everyone thinks he's the fucking greatest candidate in history, just with the free subway. Because remember, I didn't just say, we're going to make subways free. I explain it in comprehensive detail on my website of how it costs us $300 million a year to collect the subway fare. So I'm making the subways free. It doesn't simply make your life infinitely better. It doesn't also finally obey federal fire laws because they've locked half the exits because of tokens. And you know what I mean? They have to charge to get in, so they have to lock all the exits. It's a complete fire trap. It's not legal. They just get a waiver. Everything they do is illegal. Everything the MTA run by the mayor and the governor is corrupt. No one will report it but me. And so I was telling people all these secrets about the MTA, and people were going, holy shit, that does make sense. Holy shit, that does make sense. I mean, the basic raw analogy is this. Why don't we put toll booths on every road in America? And then we'd have to pay people to staff those toll booths after paying people to build those toll booths. And we'd raise money. No, we definitely would raise money by making every road a toll road. But would that be the smartest way to raise the money? Because if you, for instance, let's give you another example. Let's say you just put a 1 cent stock transfer tax. They got rid of the stock transfer tax here in New York City, on Wall Street. You got that? Now, 1 point change or 0.1 change in the stock transfer tax, we're talking billions of stocks being transferred every year by the rich, would make us the same amount of money as the Verrazano toll bridge, which has been in place for whatever 30 years. Except my way didn't cost us 1 cent to implement. They had to pay for electricity, pensions, benefits, for the workers. They had to build the things, the lights, the fucking gadgets, repair the fucking things. All that money, billions spent on one toll booth. One giant section of toll booths. Billions spent to raise billions. Now, if you're spending billions to earn billions, you're a retard, because I earned the same billions without spending 1 penny. So everyone agrees toll booths are not efficient. They're the stupidest way to raise money that exists. You could raise a cigarette tax 1 cent and raise the same amount of money. To create toll booths is not intelligent. But what the subway did was created toll booths on every single road, essentially. Do you see? Every entrance has a toll booth. Why not put toll booths at the entrance of every public park? Yes, you'll make money. We agree you'll make money. It's not an efficient way to make money. And it's not an ethical or humane way to earn money. Retarded. And I'm not supposed to be talking about this shit right now. Oh, fuck. We're supposed to be talking about how I did in the election, not my platform. My platform is genius. 100 innovations for New York City, NYC. Try Googling it. It might be somewhere online today. It might not. I'm not in charge of that shit. And, oh, fuck. I don't want to make this 2-parters. But you understand, I wasn't some asshole saying, hey, let's make the subways free. I said, you don't know anything. Remember, even after they lay off all the token clerks, you're going to be paying their pensions for the next 50, 60, 70 years, you suckers. I mean, you get robbed every which way. It makes no sense. It's like charging you to listen to the radio every day. Imagine if radio wasn't free. And I point out to people that, did you not notice that almost everything is free? Because it's the most efficient way. TV and radio were free. You would watch Seinfeld, which was a very expensive show, and you wouldn't have to pay anything. You wouldn't get a bill in the mail. You wouldn't have to do anything with your phone. You just turn it on and watch it. You paid for the TV, but you don't have to pay for the show. The advertising's paying for Seinfeld, not you. Now, who's going to say that doesn't work? It works very well. You should see how much advertising there is in Subway. They're stealing all the money. They're just stealing all the money. There's nothing honest about this. None of this was planned to be honest. It was planned to rip off the people. And they're so stupid, they still think that's not the case. And so I gave them all these, we're talking shitloads of facts. And when people would ask me questions about it, I have the answers to any fucking question you can ask me. I am the smartest political thinker in this fucking city because I'm not lazy. In fact, it's sad. I spent more time on politics than I did on music. Monitoring all the government and monitoring the media and stuff. I've made a living sometimes with this stuff and sometimes not. But I know more about this shit than anyone. And when I was in debates, the audiences would see me and go, is this guy from another planet? He has the answers to every question we can ask about government, and he can point out tens of billions of dollars in waste, penny by penny, and he knows everything. And all of his opponents are afraid to debate him. All the so-called real candidates are afraid to debate him, and all the reporters are afraid to interview him because every time they've challenged him, he can answer anything they have to say. He knows all the answers. This guy is our next mayor. Audiences always, everywhere I went, audiences were like, holy fucking shit, you're not just better looking and funnier and more charming than the others. You actually have more substance than any candidate we've ever seen. I'll give you one more example for this tape. At some point, I'm going to do a diary about some of my innovations because they could still be implemented anywhere in the country, and they should be implemented. Each one of the ideas is brilliant. A few of them have been implemented. I'll give you one more random example. Ouch. They're all great, the foot pedal faucets. Everybody loves the foot pedal faucets. Roof patio decks, everyone loved that. Holding politicians financially liable for the decisions they make. Everybody loves that one. Conservatives thought I was the greatest candidate in history, and liberals thought I was the greatest candidate in history. And you know what? They were right. Sad to say, I didn't have any competition, so it sounds grander than it is. Oh boy, we're going to have to cut this in two. So let's just finish one point. Let me give you an example. One day I was down by City Hall, and I was talking to a cop out front because they knew who I am. And I was asking some questions, and he was being kind of obnoxious to me. And I said to him, you know what? You're going to vote for me in the election. He says, no, I'm not. And I said, yeah, you are. You're going to vote for me this September in the primary. He said, no, I'm not. I would never vote for you. And I said, really? I'll prove it right now. How about this? In my proposal, if you look up my website online, you'll see I have a law that might benefit you police officers. Example, Rudy Giuliani gave the city council a 75% pay raise. Then Mayor Bloomberg gave them a 25% pay raise. That is a 100% pay raise for a part-time job with no job duties. They don't have to show up to meetings or anything. Their only job requirement is get reelected in 4 years. That's the only job requirement. That's fucking fucked up. They can literally, by law, not show up to work ever again because all they have to do is please the voters. You see how fucked up that is? Oh, so anyhow, I'm telling you this. They got the city council in that building who do no work, never risk their lives like you guys, don't have to stand in the rain, none of this shit. They got a 100% pay raise in the last 6 years, maybe less than that. And he said, I said, how much was the pay raise for cops in that time period? And he grumbled. They got 3% if they were lucky. Now compare that. The politicians who do no work, literally, and have a part-time job got a 100% pay raise, and the cops and firemen got shafted. And so I said to him, here was one of my many innovations for New York City. If the mayor gives himself a 50% pay raise, which Giuliani did, Giuliani gave himself a 50% pay raise. And the media all said, he's so fiscally conservative. And he gave his mistress, Christine, got a 150% pay raise. Bernie Carrick got a 150% pay raise. Cops, fucking 3%? Oh, my God. That's kind of suspicious, isn't it? And I said to him, so under my law, if the mayor gives 75% pay raise to the city council, public employees, he must by law give all the police a 75% pay raise. No one can get a larger pay raise than the police or a smaller pay raise. Oh, wait, I wonder if they can get a small one. I'm a little too high right now. Think about it. I said, so either it's all or nothing. You understand? They have to walk the talk. If you only get a 3% pay raise, then Giuliani and his mistress and Bernie Kerik and all of his cronies and friends he's hired can't get more than 3%. And the cop, you know what the cop said. He went, I said, tell me you don't fucking love that idea. And he went, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'm like, what the fuck? We could do this tomorrow. We could do it tomorrow. We could write it into the law tomorrow. Actually, I was going to put everything. This is even cooler because a lot of people would say, "How you're promising to do some really radical things, like you're going to rescind the 100% pay raise Giuliani and Bloomberg gave the city council. You're going to rescind that and give the money back to us because it's only a part-time job. How can you do that? You need the city council to change the law. The city council's not going to change the law. They're going to say, fuck you. You're not fucking taking away my 100% pay raise." And all these even people who are like scholars in politics and stuff, they all said that same thing. Everyone would say that with some of your ideas. They'd be like, that's a great idea. I agree with it. But you can't pull that off. The city council won't go for it. And I said, didn't you already learn I'm the smartest person of all time? It's called a Charter Revision Commission. And all of them, their eyes light up and they go, oh yeah, Charter Revision Commission. I can put all of these issues on a ballot and then have the voters decide. Do you think we should have a fairness law with pay hikes? The mayor can't give himself or his friends or anybody a larger pay raise than he gives the police, the firemen, the teachers, etc. The voters, we go right around the city council. We don't need the city council. We don't need Albany. We're going to do it in a Charter Revision Commission. All of these ideas of mine will be put on a ballot and the voters would decide. Ha, 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 ha. And all these political experts would go, holy fuck, you can pull that off. I'm like, I know. That's why they keep arresting me during this election. That's why I'm banned from all media coverage.